Hello students, have a great day and welcome back to online lectures. Today we are going to discuss what are the different operations on the processes. Before that, just recall what we have learned in last session. In last session, we were learned what is the scheduler and different types of scheduler. Scheduler is the functions of selecting a process from a one process state to another so that it finally gets executed is called as scheduler. There are three types of scheduler which are used in process scheduling, that are long-term scheduler, short-term scheduler and medium-term scheduler. A long-term scheduler is also called as job scheduler because long-term scheduler it selects the processes from job queues and load into main memory or ready queue, that is called as a long-term scheduler. So it is called as a job scheduler. It selects processes from the queue and load them into memory for the execution. When a process change the state from new to ready, then there is a use of long-term scheduler. Means when processes are change their state from the new state to ready state, at that time long-term scheduler is used. Next, that is the short-term scheduler. Short-term scheduler, it is also called as CPU scheduler because a processes from ready queues are load into CPU for the execution is called as short-term scheduler. CPU scheduler select a processes among that are ready to execute and allocates a CPU for the execution. In short-term scheduler, it changes the state from ready state to running state of the processes. Short-term scheduler are faster than long-term scheduler. In some operating system, long-term scheduler are not present or minimal. Example of Windows and Unix operating system. But in some operating system, that is time sharing system, an additional scheduling level is added, that is medium term scheduler. The main purpose of medium term scheduler is that it removes the processes from main memory and again reload afterwards when required. That is as shown in this figure. Here the processes which is select from ready queue and placed into CPU for the execution. It is suspended from CPU. It is called as a swap out, means partially executed processes that are the swapped out processes. Those swapped out processes are swapped in again into main memory for the further execution or whenever it needs. It is called as a medium term scheduler. Again, we were seeing the difference between long term scheduler, short term scheduler and medium term scheduler. Today we are going to learn the different processes, different operations on the processes. The processes in the system can execute concurrently and different operations can be performed on the processes. The process can be created and terminated dynamically. The system should provide the mechanism which are used for the creation and termination of the processes. Now we are going to focus on the main two operations, that is the creation of processes and termination of the processes. Simultaneously, there are different other operations are performed on processes like process preemption, it's a process suspension, process waiting or blocking. There are many operations that can be performed on processes. Some of these are process creation, process preemption, process blocking, and process termination. Now we will see one by one in detail these operations. The first, that is the process creation. Processes needs to be created in the system for different operations. This can be done by the following event. First, the user request for process creation. System initialization means at the time of initialization of system, some processes are being created. It's newly created. Second, execution of a process creation system call by a running processes. And last, that is the batch job initialization. As we have discussed that the processes are created by the operating system to simplify the job of execution of the program by the CPU. One process which is created by several new processes when it runs. These processes are created by original process using create process system call. In our second unit, services and components of operating system, in that we learn different system calls. In that process related system calls, we learned the create process system call. By using create process system call, system will create a new process. The original or main process is called as parent process, and a new processes are called as child of that process. Each of these processes may create other processes which forms tree of processes. Means the original or main process is a parent process which create a new sub processes. It is called as child process. Again, that child processes are create other processes. Like this, it forms a tree of processes. In many operating systems, processes are identified by the unique process identifier, which is a unique number given to it. It is an integer value assigned to the process and it is referred as PID. It's a process ID. It is the example of Solaris operating system that shows the process creation of typical Solaris operating system, in that SCHED is the parent process with a process ID is 0, which creates child process, that is the init, page out and fs flush. These are the child process of the SCHED parent process. The init have a process ID 1, page out having process ID 2, and fs flush it having process ID 3. Again, init child process, again it creates sub processes, that is INETD, its PID is 140, and DT logging, it having PID 251. Like this, a parent process creates its child process, again child creates its sub process, again those sub processes are create another process, like it forms a tree. A process requires certain resources like CPU time, memory, files, IO devices to complete its task. When parent process create a process, it is called as sub-process. Operating system may provide required resources to the sub-processes or it may have to use the resources available to its parent process. A parent process may have to partition its resources with its children processes, or maybe parent process should be able to share the partition resources of the child processes. If child processes are restricted to become subset of parent processes, then we can avoid child processes to overload of the system by creating many sub-processes. When process create a new process, two possibilities in terms of execution. Those are: the parent continues to execute concurrently with its child, and second, the parent waits until some or all its child have been terminated. This diagram demonstrates the process creation using fork. A fork system call by which one process can call another process. The created process is an exact duplicate copy of other, that is, parent process, differing only in the PID. Both the parent as well as child processes get executed when fork system call occurs. The main difference is when a new process is created as a child, the return code is 0. But when fork is executed for the parent, the return code is non-zero number. That is, child process code is returned to the parent. Here, a parent process creates a child process by using fork system call. When a new process is created, there are two possibilities. That is, the parent continue to execute concurrent with its children's, and second, a parent is wait till some or all its childs have terminated. Here, the ES system call is used after fork system call by one or two processes to replace the process memory space with a new program. The EXEC system call load a binary file in the memory which destroy the memory space of the process where EXEC system call is written, and then start executing. In this way, two processes can communicate with each other, and after doing this, they get separated to their ways. The parent process can then create more children processes, or when children runs, the parent is nothing to do, then it execute wait system call. Then parent creates more children processes, and when its child processes are being executed, at that time either parent goes into wait state, still it's all the children processes get terminated, or and get away from the ready queue of the processes till child processes get terminated. In this diagram, it shows when fork system call is create, a parent and child processes are created. Parent process is wait till the processes run, and once the child process is terminated using EXEC system call, it removes the address space of parents, then exit system call exists from the child process and parent process will be resumed. here. In short, parent process creates children process, which in turns create other processes, forming a tree of processes. It is about the process creation. When process is being execution, a new process, there are two possibilities in terms of execution. As earlier we see, the parent process continue to execute concurrently with its children, and second, the parent process waits until some or all of its children have terminated. After for system call, EXEC system call is used to load the binary file of the child process into memory and starts its execution. The second process, that is the process preemption or process suspension. An interrupt mechanism is used in preemption that suspend the process executing concurrently, and the next process to execute is determined by the short-term scheduler. Means that when a newly processes are admit in the system, then the processes are change their state from new to ready state. Here there are two ways. The processes of ready queue, ready state are dispatched into running. In running, it is preempted or it occurs some interrupt. When interrupt is occur, the process from the running state are change their state from running to ready state again. Preemption makes sure that all processes get some CPU time for the execution. This diagram demonstrates the process preemption as follows. This situation already we seen in process state diagram. Next, process blocking. The process is blocked if it is waiting for some event to occur. In process state diagram, first all the process, system related process enters into new state. In that new state, by using new system call, new process is created and admit into ready state. The processes from the ready state are kept into running state or dispatched into running. In running state, the CPU is allocated, while after some time or any interrupt occur or any request, for example, the running process required some IO devices. At that time, process state their change from running state to blocked state or waiting state to complete their IO devices. That is called as the process blocking. Once all their IO devices or IO resources are completed, again the processes are kept into ready for the further execution. This event may be IO, as the IO event are executed in the main memory and don't require the processor. After the event is complete, the process again goes to the ready state. Wait system call is called to make a process wait until something else happens. It shows in this diagram, and already we see this situation in process state diagram. And the last very important process, that is the process termination. There are basic two operations on the processes, that is process creation and process termination. After the process has completed the execution of its last instruction, it is terminated. The resources held by the processes are released after it is terminated. A child process can be terminated by its parent process if its task is no longer relevant. The child process sends its status information to the parent process before it terminates. Also, when a parent process is terminated, its child process are terminated, as well as the child process cannot run if parent process are terminated. The exit system call is used to terminate the process. Means a process is terminated when it finishes by executing an exit system call. When its last statement gets executed, the operating system delete it using exit system call. At this point, process may return a status value to its parent process via wait system call. This return status value is generally an integer. All the logical and physical resources, including open file, I/O buffers, memory, allocated to process is deallocated by an operating system. Termination can even occur in different situations. A process can be terminated by another process via appropriate system call. Such a system call can be invoked by only parent of the process that has to be terminated. If this rule would not be there, user could have killed the job processes of each other. Here, parent process need to know the PIDs of these child processes. Thus, when a new process is created, its identifier is returned to its parent process. A parent may terminate its child process due to some reason, like the child has exceeded its usage of some of the resources that it has been allocated. The second reason, the task assigned to child process is not required anymore. And last, the parent is exiting and the operating system do not permit its child to continue if its parents terminate. Means, in first reason, the child has exceeded its usage of some of the resources that it has been allocated. Means, the child process is used some resources and its time is too much exceeded. In this case, the parent may be terminate its child. In second reason, the task assigned to child process is not required anymore. When parent create its child and assign some task to each and every its child. When that child task is not required for any further use at that time, the parent terminate the child. And last, it's a parent is terminated, then operating system do not permit its child to continue if its parent is terminated. In some system, it do not allow child processes exits if parent process is terminated. If parent process terminates, all its child processes should be terminated. This phenomenon is called as cascading termination. In short, if the original and main parent process is terminated, so system does not allow to execute their children's. It is called as a cascading termination. In case of Unix operating system, the processes are terminated by exit system call. In this case, parent process waits till child process get execute. If parent process terminate, then child process do not terminate. They are given a parent process init by operating system. So parent process terminate, children process continue with new parent, which keeps track of children processes. In Unix operating system, if parent process terminate itself, then its child processes are being continued to assigning a new parent process by using init system call. There are some other operations like ending and aborting process, loading and executing processes, create process and terminate process, which already we learned, get process attributes and set process attributes. These are the some other processes, other operations which are performed on processes. In the operation of processes, there are mainly two basic operations, that is the process creation and process termination. In process creation, a process is created by using for system call, and the main parent process is create its a process that is called as a child process. The child process are being executed using exec system calls, and after that at the same time parents is goes to the wait state. Still its all child processes are being terminated. There are two possibilities of process execution, that is the parent process continue to execute concurrently with its children, and second the parent process waits until some or all of its children have terminated. exec system call is used after for system call. It is used to load the binary file of child process into memory and start its execution. In this diagram shows the entire process of process creation. Here a parent process by using for system call creates sub processes, that is the child processes. Now child processes are being executed by using exec system call. At the same time the parent process goes into the waiting state. All the child processes are being executed and their task is completed. Then exit system call is called, means terminate the childs. At that time parent will be resumed. And last, that is the process termination. Process termination, when it finishes by executing an exit system call. When its last statement gets executed, the operating system deletes it using exit system call. Thank you.